Hello, I'm Mr. Mallender and I'm Head of Maths here at Scolby School. Trial exams are approaching, and so I'd like to share with you a few tips on how your son or daughter can best prepare for their trial exam in mathematics. First of all, a little bit about the maths department. Here at Scolby School, we have 9 maths teachers, and between us, we have a total of about 100 years worth of experience in teaching maths. I've been teaching maths for 25 years, and all of our maths teachers are maths trained, which might sound obvious, but in some schools you may find that the maths teacher might be a geography specialist who happens to be good at maths. But that's not the case here at Scolby School. We are all mathematicians. We have very little staff absence, and if we do, then we have a recently retired colleague who is more than happy to come and do a few days work in school, and even our cover teacher. He is also a maths specialist. At the moment, Scolby School's maths results put us in the top 20% of schools nationally for progress. And so the reason I tell you this is because your son or daughter has had a fairly good deal throughout their time at Scolby School. They've always had a maths teacher, and so I hope they're feeling reasonably confident going into their trial exams. GCSE Maths consists of 3 exam papers. Paper 1 is non-calculator. Papers 2 and 3 require a scientific calculator. If your son or daughter is in set 1 or set 2, then they'll be doing higher tier maths, and that gives them a chance to reach grades 4 to 9. In set 3 or set 4, then your son or daughter will be entered for foundation tier, which gives them access to grades 1 to 5. Now, grade 4 is quite important. It's known as a standard pass. That's not to say that grade 3 isn't a pass, because it is, and grade 2 is a pass, and grade 1 is a pass. But grade 4 is the required standard, which means that your son or daughter won't need to retake maths next year at college. Maths is so important that the government wants everyone, wherever possible, to try to get grade 4. Grade 5 is known as a strong pass. Now, maths is a subject where just having a biro really isn't going to do it. We need to have quite a lot of specialised equipment, not least of all the scientific calculator. Does your son or daughter have a good scientific calculator, and do they bring it every day? Do they know how it works? Because the calculator on the left of the screen doesn't work in the same way as the calculator on the right of the screen. And a study has been done, and students who face exams using the calculator with which they are familiar do on average about 5% better than students who face an exam with a calculator that they're unfamiliar with. It makes a measurable difference. Pens, well, we need black pens. Examiners need to see black pen. Black biros are fine, but do have a spare and a spare, and no other fancy type of pen, please. Rulers. We need a ruler marked with centimeters and millimeters. Inches is helpful as well, but certainly not a ruler with just inches on, because it won't do the job. Compasses. Your son or daughter has to have compasses for drawing circles. I know this is probably a little bit silly, but compasses for drawing circles, please. Standard equipment for lessons. We also need a protractor, and the 2 protractors on the left here, the semicircular one is the one which we tend to use in class all the time. That's probably the best option. The circular one underneath is also a good option, but the circular one on the right isn't. It does have degrees around the outside. It also has percentages around the inside, and it's having an attempt at being a ruler as well, this particular protractor here. It's all a bit confusing. We want to keep it simple. Let's give them the protractor with which they're familiar with. So please make sure they have a semicircular protractor in their pencil case. And a highlight pen. Really important as well. We need highlight pens to pick out key information when we're problem solving. We can distill all of the information down into just a few key facts and figures, and then we can go on to solve the problem. And if a highlight pen is used responsibly, like you can see at the top of the screen, and not like at the bottom of the screen where it's just been used to colour in everything, completely missing the point, then a highlight pen is really, really helpful. We also need pencils and sharpeners and erasers. There is drawing work, and we can't have students drawing work in biro, because if they make a mistake, there's nothing that we can do about it. The examiner will automatically mark it wrong. Some tips for success then. Every Thursday we run Maths Booster. It runs from 2:30 till 3:30. It's run by your son or daughter's regular classroom teacher, and it makes a big difference. It's an extra hour of maths. And I often say to students, do you know that if your parents or carers had to pay for a maths tutor, it'd be an extra £35 for that hour. And of course, you get it for free because you go to Scolby School. So really worth doing. Attendance is generally very, very good. So if your son or daughter isn't currently doing that, please, please encourage them to turn up. We would be delighted to see them. Tip number 2, Practice Papers Plus book. We issued these to students some time ago. They're books with exam papers in, but the full solutions are in the back, not just the answer, but how it's been done. They also contain tips and clues. So sometimes a little tip or a little clue is enough to get started. If not, they can have a look at the full solution in the back, and that often really helps. Tip number 3, MathsWatch. MathsWatch Virtual Learning Environment is a fantastic web-based resource. The videos last typically 5 minutes. It's like a 5-minute lesson, and they are crystal clear. And then students get to try the questions, and when they're answering questions on MathsWatch, MathsWatch marks it for them as they go along. It's really, really good. They get immediate feedback. They'll know whether it's right or wrong straight away. So MathsWatch is a wonderful resource. Tip number 4, they need to know how to use their scientific calculator. And as we've seen, it makes a measurable difference. Bring it to school every day and know how it works. Tip number 5, they need to memorize the formulae. There are lots of them. And a simple example would be if a question said calculate the area of this circle, and they couldn't remember that area is pi r squared, they get 0. There's nothing that they can do. If they haven't memorized the formula, there's no way into the question. And tip number 6 is there's always something to revise in maths. Your maths teachers will provide equipment, provide resources to revise from. There's Practice Papers Plus. There's MathsWatch. There is always something to do. So please don't let your son or daughter say, I haven't got anything to do, because there always is something that they can do. Now, MathsWatch, what a fabulous resource. So here's a quick reminder of how students log into MathsWatch. They should know this, and they should be using it regularly. If we have someone called John Smith, then the login is capital JOH from John, capital SMI from Smith, at Scolby School, which is lowercase, and the password for everyone is just Scolby. Well, I hope that's been helpful, and if there are any questions, don't hesitate, please, to get in touch with school. Bye for now.